let's build a really detailed muddy forest for the wild boars. So in this build, we're of course building for the wild boars. And this is actually my first build back because, yes, guys, I'm sorry, but I just had to quit for a few months, just for a month, because well, I wasn't really feeling the game anymore. And yeah, your creativity kind of lags when you don't feel like playing Planet Zoo anymore, and yeah, you just don't feel the motivation to make the build, then record it, then make edit, and then also voice record it. So yeah, that takes a lot of effort. So that's why I basically just had to take a little pause from the game. But yeah, I'm back, and today with the new build for the wild boars. And this was kind of inspired by their natural habitat. So the boars live in temperate forests, just like where I live. I live in Belgium, and the thing is, kind of here they're kind of a pest because well, it's not an invasive species; it's a natural species, but we don't have natural predators anymore for them. And what the boars do, they uh, they plow everything that they see, because they're foragers and they're omnivores. So what they do is you have a ground, and they kind of with their snouts they plow the ground open to search for food, and that kind of ruins the whole thing when they go into cities or go into people's backyards, because the thing is, people have those beautiful grass. Yeah, they just have beautiful grass in their backyard, and then a group of wild boars comes in, plows everything open, and then your backyards kind of looks like just looks like a dirt filled space. So that's why they're kind of annoying for people. And the thing is, they're just with so many because there aren't any natural predators that well, hunters have to kill them, because they have to decrease the population, because otherwise there would just be too many wild boars. And the thing is, normally those wild boars they decline when winter comes, because food supply gets less, and they get less food, so they starve. But the thing is, in Europe, with the climate change, the winters get way less harsh, and that also means that food doesn't disappear that frequent. So that's why their population increases that much, and that's why hunters have to kill them to decrease it. But that's just the negative part, because these species also take a really positive part in the nature, because well, they plow the ground for food, and that gives new plants the chance to grow and to create new life. So there are sometimes negative parts, but there are also sometimes some positive parts. So that's why I was inspired for this build, because well, it's a species from my home, so I really know it good. And yeah, I was trying to give them a life, because well, zoos are for people information to teach them something, and just not to look at these species, and also to save them, because some species are endangered in the wild. And yeah, you just don't want to lose some species because they look really nice, or they're just really special, and they're our nature, we don't want to lose them. So that's why I built it, because well, I think the the reason why people should go to zoos is not only to look at the animals and to admire them, but also to get information from them, where they come from, how they live, how they get their food, what they do in nature. And that's why some people hate zoos, and that's why other people love them, because a lot of people just think zoos are for entertainment, and yes, that's also true. We had in our history a lot of people that kept animals for their entertainment. Look at circuses. They had their animals do tricks for them, for people, for money. And I think that we're now in a generation where that's not acceptable anymore, and it's also changing because there are a lot of animal laws that don't accept this behavior, and they get like they just get they just don't get accepted, and that's really great. And that's where zoos come into place to change that, because you also have a lot of zoos that rescue animals, and a lot of like sanctuaries that keep those animals and try to care for them. But yeah, that's why I don't really get why people hate them, because, well, yes, uh, zoos were built in the first place for entertainment and for a special species that the normal person or the wealthy couldn't really go visit, and that's why they were brought to them, But now zoos aren't like that anymore. Yes, you can still look at the animals if that's your choice. You don't need to read every information board. But a lot of people, they go to zoos to just look at the animal, but then they also read the boards, And that's really nice because zoos teach people how those animals live in the wild and how you can, it's also when you buy a ticket, you help the animal maybe get back into the wild, get released again. And that's why I think zoos really don't need and really don't need to get all that negative reactions and all those negative comments, because, well, yes, there are still some zoos in the world that take care of their animals and don't take care of their animals. Like in some Asian countries, you really see that like the taking care of the animals is that good, but here in Europe, you see that really the zoos take care of the animals and try to teach people something. And that's why I also want to give a lot of information in my videos, because, well, I think you just it's nature and you need to know what lives in this world, because, well, why just won't you want to know what lives in this world? So but let's talk about the build for now. So you can see that I was trying to go with like a really muddy forest-ish kind of habitat, and I saw this new trick. I think his name is Charlie Gaming, because he uses those tarps. I'm not sure from what pack it was, but he uses these tarps and recolors them, and then you kind of get like the fence. But I hate because a lot of times you kind of build a fence, but the thing is, you still can look through the fence, and then I need to make like the foliage like behind it nice enough to like blend with the habitat and doesn't like pop out from the background. But sometimes it's really hard to do that because, well, then you have a savanna habitat, and savanna plants in the background look kind of weird because you're building in a temperate habitat. So that's why I like these tarps, and that's why I also use them. And you can also see that I was it's not really gonna be a habitat with a lot of foliage, because, well, boars really like to plow everything. So I think a lot of plants are gonna get stomped or are gonna get eaten. So that's why I also made a lot of rock piles for I can incorporate a bit more foliage, and I'm also gonna put like a barriers around them so the boars can't reach them. And I was kind of going for a foresty look, so that's why I also made like a small little lodge for their backstage. It's not really it's kind of a lodge. Well, I was going for inspiration from a lodge, so that's what I've kind of went with. And for foliage, I used those birch trees, because there are a lot of birch forests here in Europe, and that kind of wraps up the foliage use and also kind of wraps up the video. So I think I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye, guys.